In an unexpected twist, Astral Authority take the lead here against Tempo Storm in our second series of the day for the Heroes of the Storm North America Summer Regional. We will be moving on to game number 2 in just a moment here, as we will be moving on to Tomb of the Spider Queen. In fact, we can actually take a look at the vetoes and the map pool overall for this series to show you and re-jog your memory as to how things have gone down thus far in that field. As Battlefield of Eternity, who is taken away, Cursed Hollow also taken away. Sky Temple goes over towards Astral Authority, which was their pick. Now it's time for Tempo Storm to have their stomping ground of Tomb of the Spider Queen, Infernal Shrines if we need it down the line. Boys, this is a map where, of course, a lot of it is based on control. Very, very small map. What are we looking for here? Is Tempo Storm got the chops to be able to bring it back? How strong are they here on Tomb of the Spider Queen?
The way you come back on this map is Specialist. You can see how the lanes are designed. It's a very narrow map. You need heroes like Zul, like Sylvana, split-pushing heroes. We see them prioritized here all the time. You collect the gems with those rotations, and you get the turn-ins because the other team just, their towers are getting pushed in by the split push.
Yeah, I didn't even have to do map roulette, actually. You just kind of went with it, Zoya. You were right on fire.
But if you turn in those gems, you summon the web rivers, you get these massive waves of minions. And because of the minions, the way that they can stack up these big waves, lane clear becomes a critical asset. So this is when you start to see heroes like Kayle Foss get a lot of prioritization, even more so than he already does. Making sure that you have that lane clear is critical to getting success here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Right, so, of course, that is our map here going down. Now, Jay, how you've seen kind of trends in some of these teams moving forwards onto a map like this?
Yeah, we've seen Tempo Storm historically over the last month really prioritize, as these guys just alluded to, wave clear being a huge priority. We've seen a lot of first ban Zuls out of Tempo Storm, and then you talked about control over the map. Zagara lends so much vision with her creep tumors that are going to be spread around. So that's something that we've seen a lot of. I'm curious if that's what we're going to see here in game number 2.
In Gold League, Zul is the most banned hero, and he only gets banned on maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen and Infernal Shrine. So despite not every single game being on those, he still has 30 bans throughout the league so far, just showing you how powerful he is on these split-pushing maps.
Other heroes to really consider, though, Tassadar, he's a great goaltender. We like to call them goaltenders because they control the coffers and keep you from being able to turn in. He has Oracle for Vision, and Sidestorm is very easy to use. So I'm excited to see what they do in the draft for those picks.
All right, well, we're jumping into it. It will be draft for game number 2 here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and it will be Tyrande banned first.
Can you do that pronunciation again?
Tyrande.
That was awesome. That was sick.
I'll keep doing it if you really want later
on.
Oh, yeah. All right, so she is gone here, so rolling dem R's. But overall, very, very good control as well. You know, that's that Owl able to deny some of those turn-ins going forwards, and also a map where roaming is important, right? So even Muradin, a very, very good roamer, is being hovered right now.
So this comes to an interesting point here, as both Illidan and Kayle Foss are up, but so is both Sylvanas and Zul. So normally we would always see, if this Muradin ban goes through, a Kayle Foss or an Illidan pick up here. You also have to add in those 2 more heroes that become uber on this map. But they do go with the Sylvanas ban. I think Tempo Storm should just pick up Zul, but looks like they're hovering Kayle.
They're shifting things up. You know, Kayle Foss, again, just his AoE in general is ridiculously strong for that push-up, but also he's great in rotations. Everything about this hero just screams power in his kit.
With the recent Sylvanas changes, I mean, it's no surprise that now we're seeing her prioritized a lot more. Yeah. Not necessarily in the first ban phase, but we are seeing it on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So we're going to see a little bit change here. Illidan, not one of the heroes we normally see on Tomb of the Spider Queen with these smaller maps, but is that an option after last game? I mean, they were so dominant with it, but with Zul still on the board, is that going to be first pick potential?
Well, let's see here. They're hovering the Tassadar. You mentioned the Storm and the Wave Clear. You also have to talk about his trait where you use Oracle. You get that vision so you can see both points constantly. Help you deny those turn-ins as well. So Tassadar is a great pickup here. Do you think we'll see the Illidan?
Yeah, to the point of the Illidan, I don't think so. It's not big enough of a playground for Illidan. He needs a lot of space to really get that maximized damage and be able to run around and chase people. And that's not something Illidan really has. Tassadar, the ultimate goaltender. I don't even know a single famous soccer player. Claris, you're European. Do you know any?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't even follow football, really.
We're in America. No. It's called soccer.
Okay, yeah. Please.
Tassadar Li Ming. I don't know if I like that at all.
Why?
Li Ming, this is...
She doesn't have the lane clear, but
she
has range to deny.
This is one of the few maps she can poke. She can poke very consistently to deny the turn-ins, and also this is one of the maps where she can teleport between pretty much any space, any lane. She can go over that wall with the base teleport range.
It's a strong defender's advantage in that regard, and especially if you end up getting Illusionist as well, it makes it even more prevalent. So, but we have seen Glass Cannon throughout the day so far. So Illidan being hovered, and Kael'Thas Illidan to start things off for Tempo Storm. Scary, scary.
You put them together, and they're dominant, but this is still one of the maps where I'm not a big fan of Illidan. Jayhow, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, my thoughts similarly. You talked about the playground size, and this is one of the smaller maps where it really makes it difficult for him to really shine. But we've seen a lot of Illidan play with a lot of the rework, so no surprise he's involved, but in Tomb of the Spider Queen, it's where the biggest question is.
It tilts me we haven't seen Zul yet.
You know, it's weird. It's very weird.
Well, I have a question. I mean, you were alluding to the fact that they normally ban it out whilst Rhaegar gets picked up, but is it just that Tempo Storm doesn't like playing it? They've been the ones initially to have the option to go for it in certain instances.
I think that's just kind of a thing that most of NA still hasn't adopted yet.
Okay,
I see Zul a lot in Europe. I see it a lot in Korea and China. It just seems like, you know, how Kayle was, you know, slow to be picked up in EU. Maybe that's the same for Zul.
I love this. Ban Muradin. If ETC and Zul are left, they're just going to scoop those two up.
We've seen Tempo...
Muradin is a counter to Illidan.
I would have liked Muradin not to have been banned.
Yeah, I would have liked an ETC ban better than
But what I'm thinking is this is just hero preference, right? Equinox, he's more of an ETC guy. And, you know, I could easily see him being the one playing ETC in the situation. We've talked about the potential of him playing someone like Kerrigan. That's also on the table here for Equinox.
You know, Sonya, obviously one of the counters towards Illidan works out here, but one of the things that we've been seeing a lot of out of Urho is Dahaka play, and stellar
Even
Dahaka
on this map
play.
too.
On this map in particular, he does phenomenal. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that's in Tempo's bag of tricks here, but with Illidan, does that pair?
Uther and ETC going to be locked in here. That's going to give them a good bit of control for the Illidan that is diving in. Uther, a great counter. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Divine Storm, but it is possible with Tassadar, since they're not necessarily looking, well, so far they don't necessarily need that Divine Shield.
Yeah, but the Divine Shield pairs so well with the ETC, so you can make an argument for both in this situation. Last two picks here for Tempo Storm, they do have their support. What tank are they going to end up picking up here? Since it is Tomb of the Spider Queen, I would default to Joanna. You get the wave clear with Condemn. She's got the good initiation as well as the defensive, you know, stuns. So probably Johanna.
She's probably one of the best warriors, I would say, to actually go in and then interrupt and then be able to move back. Every other warrior is not really on the same level with that Condemn, with that shield glare, I think.
She is the ultimate piggy bank, as I like to say. She will just hold all the gems so safely.
One of the more interesting things when you see Johanna, you talk about goaltending, Jake, is the fact that you'll see Johanna just sit in that vent, just controlling one thing, and plays that permanent goaltender. If you can deny
the gems,
it, that's huge.
Just hanging out. Yeah, she can shine her little flashlight to stall out your turn-in of the gems, and she's quite effective at what she does, specifically on maps like this in Dragonshire.
I like the comparison of shield glare to a flashlight.
I would imagine, because it blinds them, it's a bit of a bright flashlight.
Well, last pick here for Tempo. They're thinking really hard on it. They're down to their last 35 seconds in the time pool. When it comes to damage dealers, Vala, you know, we always talk about how she's middle of the pack. This is a great map where multi-shot helps with the wave clear. But they're going to go with Falstad. I like this. If you pair, if it is Divine Storm, I think with this you have to go Divine Shield now for the Gust.
They have so much damage. So much damage on this side of things. How does Astral Authority even respond? Surely they need some damage themselves here to, well, considering what else they have, right?
Yeah, Li Ming's not going to carry it enough. Thrall's still on the board. Is this where Thrall actually comes into play? He can help defend up on that front line against an Illidan that's coming in. He also,
oh my
Equinox.
There it is. We talked about it. I told you it would be Equinox to play Kerrigan. They're hovering it.
Oh my.
30 seconds.
Going
Please
wild.
don't be trolling us. I know they like to hover those picks in drafts.
Oh,
I believe in the Equinox.
Look at the response on the other side. It's really just Johanna. Oh, they got the Murky. They're trolling us. Yeah, they're playing with us.
Yeah, they're playing with our emotions, man.
I think Kerrigan overall though will be super cool to see.
It could work.
She's got so much power.
Kerrigan locked in.
She's got so much power.
There we go.
The lanes are so close to the turning points, which are so close to vents. It gives Kerrigan the primal opportunity. See what I did there? To be able to just get those combos down, right?
Yeah.
It's a scary thing. You know, I actually had the pleasure of talking with Equinox recently about Kerrigan in particular. It's his favorite hero and one that he plays all the time. he is lethal on it. And if those combinations do land, that could spell trouble a lot for what Tempo Storm's trying to pull off.
And she's good at cleaning up the lanes too. She's actually like, you wouldn't think she is, but you go Siphoning Impact, you get that reset on your Q, and you just Q every little minion.
Yeah, and the cool thing is they also have a lot of CC outside of the Kerrigan. You can often use your Kerrigan combo to bait out Johanna's trait Iron Skin, and then you still have the ETC Uther to stun him after that. So Johanna be feeling safe, you know, I dodged the Kerrigan combo, you're not going to get me, then ETC's just like, sorry.
A Divine Shield here like has the multi-use, right?
That's
you can
true.
combo it with the Mosh Pit, or you can combine it with Kerrigan going absolutely ham, I think.
There's no room for Divine Storm, and it's going to be really fun to watch. Now, of course, it is always a risk when you play Kerrigan. If you miss that combo, if you miss that Kerrigan combo, it's so expensive, and she puts herself in a weird spot, so she does need assistance in those moments, but there's not a lot of stuns on the other side to really stop her from doing her combos.
I think the combo solution there is the fact that there's so much or so little room between those lanes. Battle momentum at level 7 to get that cooldown. I mean, that's one of the highlights for this smaller map and those closer lanes.
I think the most recent time we've seen Kerrigan was from MVP Black, and Rich made it look, well, and he did rich things, right? He did rich things.
Ridiculous.
But Equinox, like you said, he is a seasoned Kerrigan player. For the longest time when he first started playing under Murloc Geniuses, I believe, people were like, okay, ban Kerrigan. Right, because he just only played Kerrigan, and now, of course, he's a fantastic player with a very diverse hero pool, but he's been playing Kerrigan for almost 2 years now.
Well, looking at these lineups, guys, I mean, obviously we've seen the power of Illidan so far today, and Tempo Storm does have quite the strong damage on its side, but is the trump cards here of Astral Authority enough to be able to trump that?
If Tempo Storm plays like they did game 1, Astral Authority should win, but if we don't look at the previous game, we just look at the drafts, it's hard to not look at Kael'thas, Illidan, Rhaegar and say you win the draft.
I think if Tempo Storm gets to the late game on an even footing and they've pushed back some of those structures, it's their game. But if Astral Authority just starts to get the early kills, they start to just take control of the map, it's like there's a big chance of that happening.
Okay.
They have the game in the bag, but they have to win the game early.
Jay, how quick thoughts?
If it wasn't for Equinox on Kerrigan, I'd say that Tempo's got this, but that's the ultimate X factor in this game is Kerrigan. It's make or break on Kerrigan in this game right now for Astral Authority.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. We are going to head on to game number 2 now. With Astral Authority leading 1-0, we'll send you over to Jake and Zoya.
Alrighty, guys. Tempo Storm versus Astral Authority here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 2. With Astral Authority up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to look at game number 1, right, because you see a stomp like that. But let's go ahead, we'll talk about that later. Let's introduce the teams here on the left-hand side of the map, up 1-0. Make some noise for Astral Authority. Kerrigan playing Equinox, Talking Trees on Li Ming, Frozen X on Tassar, Dark Chimera on Uther, and Collusion rounding out the team on ETC.
In Russia, Kerrigan plays you. On the right side, we've got Tempo Storm here. In the red, we've got Zix being played as Rhaegar. Tempo Storm Goku going to be on that Falstad. Urho playing the Johanna. KO going to be on Kael'thas. And rounding out the team, running in circles, that's Illidan, played by Equinox. Did I say that?
You said that wrong.
I totally said it wrong.
Yeah, I think that was Tomster. Either way, Jake, we got 2 really cool comps here, but it was mentioned in our previous discussion, Kerrigan struggles from behind, so controlling this early game is pivotal for the rest of this game from Astral Authority.
Yeah, and we do have the Q build starting out here for Kerrigan. That's very common. It gives not only Kerrigan the ability to clear the lanes pretty quickly, but a lot of self-sustain she can get from the lanes. Sitting there always near minions, there's many opportunities. So much damage going out right out of the gates onto Johanna. They turn around and get ETC.
It's really hard to justify using all of your cooldowns, all of your damage on a Johanna, because even though they played well around the Iron Skin, it still wasn't enough to kill someone that tanky. And Tempo Storm comes on top. The Kerrigan combo misses. They're going in onto him. The gravity lapse doesn't connect. Equinox trying to get the kill. Flame strike, and they secure another kill. 2 kills to 0 in favor of Tempo Storm, and it looks like Zix will be able to escape.
All right, Falsight can quickly fly to bottom, get that soak here for the team, and make sure they're in optimal conditions. Illidan actually already down there versus Tassadar, and making sure they're in a great spot. Now, we talked about Astral Authority needing an early game. They need to come out of the gates hot. They need to get those kills. They're not too far behind, but if it continues this way with Tempo Storm just dominating, all these little small initiations that happen, it's going to be very difficult for them to bring it in the late game.
Well, Tempo Storm with about a quarter-level lead right now. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going. That's what Astral Authority is going to be looking to do, is just try and swing this in their favor. But this control from Tempo is so good. Johanna and Kael'thas, it doesn't matter what you play with it. You get the Condemn, you get the Flame Strike, and look at that. That wave's instantly gone.
Yeah, the piggy bank life is good. Equinox and Collusion just waiting in this bush. If anyone walks nearby, it's going to be lights out. But Tempo, well aware of this trick. You see they're pacing around. Kael'thas and Falsa just need to be patient. They're waiting.
The rotation from Dark Chimera comes up from above. The power slide comes out. No connection there. Urho gets the slow on the Collusion. He has no power slide out. Will the Gravity Labs come in? No, they do not. They're going to play it safe. And Tempo Storm going to back out without losing anyone.
That was a very antsy power slide. It was almost like just a little bit, you know, you could be more patient with that.
I almost feel like Kerrigan should be the one setting that up because she gets the leap in and then stuns after that, where your leap in on ETC is your stun.
That's true. That's true. Very good point. Well, we'll have to see if they make adjustments here. We have Urho stepping forward, revealing Collusion, and Equinox trying to do the same trick. Not going to work once again. So,
Equinox getting very low. Dark Chimera comes from above. Doesn't matter. Nice power slide from Collusion, but Equinox falls.
Huge damage from that backline. Falset and Kael'thas with just Urho controlling all of the space. It's working out brilliantly now. Right now, it's 37 to 36 in terms of gems. Neither of the teams have turned in anything. But as we do start to see heroes with those gems fall, that's when it's going to get dicey.
If you guys didn't see it, check out Fan from the Ventix video about Kael'thas. There are two popular builds for him, and right now from KO, we are seeing the Korean build where you go the Arcane Barrier at level 1, and of course you see the Verdant Sphere talents at level 4 and 7. It's a really cool style, and it's being utilized well on this map by KO.
It's a little bit more tanky than the traditional. Like, you know, Netherwind does give you the ability to land your stun a little bit more easily. But the sustain is quite nice. Collusion just taking a lot of damage for the team. We see the Kerrigan spines have been spent. So that means that Astral cannot initiate his next issue.
Well, you do see that Thompson's doing a good job versus Frozen, but here comes Equinox. His Thompson going to go down here. He might be too far forward. He gets the dash out. Does Equinox have range for the combo? No, he doesn't. Nice escape from Thompster.
Falset is actually flying down here thinking he's needed. Actually, Goku just backing away at the last moment. And a nice rotation from Johanna. But Equinox going to be A-OK to back away.
Well, both teams clearly have enough gems for a turn in here, Jake. It's just the matter of getting those turned in, and the team controlling the rotation has a better job of that. But I love this aggressive positioning coming out here from Astral Authority just to try and catch anyone off position here. Urho's very far forward. He has no fear. He knows he's surrounded by 4 people, but he still goes in.
Yeah, level 7 is so very close here for Tempo. They do have, it will be a small window in which they have a talent tier advantage, but Astral Authority, I think they were trying to find a window in which they wouldn't be down, because once Tempo does have level 7, the combo does connect.
Oh, but he dodges the Li Ming burst. Nice job from Thompster to get out of there. And yeah, there seems to be a lot of individual good plays coming out from Astral Authority that's not being followed up by the rest of the team. And that's why they're struggling to get a kill. They need to kind of take a deep breath, pause what they're doing, and get on the same page as each other.
Okay, Urho getting topped off. We do have the Chain Lightning spinning widely there from Rhaegar, going a bit of a lightning shield build here.
We do see the cleanse from Rhaegar. That's going to help a lot. There's a lot of CC on that end. Of course, we do see the cleanse from Uther as well. Again, this is such an interesting lane down here. It's so hard to get an edge over your opponent, and neither have been able to do so far. Talking Trees looks like he's going to get 9 gems turned in. They almost have enough for turn in. Tempo Storm needs 2 more, but right now, it looks like Dark Chimera might be able to get it. No, in the bottom lane, it was Tassar. So Astral Authority with the first turn in, Jake.
Yeah, that's a big deal. They're going to get a lot of momentum out of this. Tempo Storm going to have to try to do their best to defend it. Now, the experience hasn't quite been even up yet. Tempo maintaining that half-level lead, and it all comes down to the value of these web weavers. See how much they can do. If they can get 4 to 6 towers, great. The chance of them getting a 4, it's incredibly unlikely.
This is where communication is most important. You know, you have to have someone like Thompson who's on Illidan. The moment Tassadar leaves lane, he's like, hey, he's missing. He might be getting a turn. There's a lot of stall on the end of Tempo, but we do see a big Condemn coming out there. They're trying to clear us out as well as they can. Good damage onto Collusion, but the Kerrigan combo lands on Goku. He gets the barrel roll over the wall.
That's the threat of Kerrigan. And honestly, another thing to point out about Kerrigan is sometimes players just aren't accustomed to thinking about that. They're not worried about being pulled out of their base. And she's one of the only heroes that can do something like that.
Well, looks like almost all the web weavers have been cleaned up here. Middle still getting some value, but it's almost crazy to see that someone got the first turn in of the game and they're just evening out in experience. Usually with a turn, and even if you're behind, you end up almost a full level up. But Tempo Storm did a good job of just maximizing experience, and that's because of this 5-man push in mid. Tempo Storm had Thompster top and KO, or Thompster bottom and KO top, soaking.
Yep, so the experience is dead even at this point. The difference being Tempo Storm holding on to so many gems, and they only need to turn in 2 more. We see Frozen X trying to stall this out. Nice from them going out onto Equinox. He's incredibly low. They're diving in, and Kerrigan will go down.
Really quick 4 kills here for Tempo Storm despite the turn, and now they are ahead of their opponents and they're getting closer to level 10. And Jake, if they get this turn in here, which it looks like is going to be allowed, Tempo Storm's going to have level 10 with this Web Weaver push. That is huge.
Not only is it huge, but like this is the situation where you're getting so much more value out of your gems, right? You got to think about how much do you actually get from this turn in. So they're going to be able to force a really bad situation on the side of Astral Authority, and they do have the potential to take out the fort very easily here.
Well, let's see here what Tempo can do with this. The Web Weavers are all reasonably far back, except for Top. Top's almost touching that wall here. Urho rotating a mid, and it looks like Tempo Storm's going to try and get a lot of damage done in the mid lane.
So close to level 10. There it is. Tempo Storm does lock it in. Metamorphosis, Blessed Shield, Ancestral Heal, Phoenix, and then the Mighty Gust. Just a few minions away for level 10 on the side of Astral Authority.
Front wall has already fallen. Kerrigan has cleared up the top one very fast with Li Ming. Bottom still getting some value here. And it looks like Tempo Storm just wants to maximize their experience. Not going for a fort. They're just going to try and get a front wall here down in bottom. Taking a look at the heroics here for Astral Authority. It's going to be Maelstrom, Mosh Pit, Divine Shield, Force Wall, and Disintegrate.
Okay, that Divine Shield is going to be critical to both the ETC and, of course, the Kerrigan in those initiations to enable them to be safe in doing so. A Divine Mosh is, of course, very impactful, but there's not a ton of stuns on the side of Tempo anyway, so I'm not too sure how critical that is.
We do see that this camp is being cleaned up here by Tempo Storm. No camps done by Astral Authority yet, but they've got enough gems in here for a turn in here. With Tempo Storm doing that, and of course, split soaking as well. This looks like it's going to be a free Web Weaver. Yeah, there it is.
You know, it's kind of surprising they're being a little bit, you know, they're not being so controlling of the turn-in right now. That was very just easy free turn-in on the side of Astral Authority. They're going to get a good bit of control from this, reclaim all the lanes in their favor to push it out. And if Tempo Storm steps out of line at all, they're going to get picked off. I mean, that's what ETC Kerrigan they're looking to do. They're looking to find someone out of position and just land that combo.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a mistake. They're giving a Kerrigan team the opportunity to catch up in the game, and that's not what you want versus Kerrigan. You want to keep that lead forever because Kerrigan is just extremely weak from behind.
Okay, well, the bottom Web Weaver was cleaned up very quickly, but this middle fort already has taken a good bit of damage. And Astral Authority is just safely seeding it up. Kerrigan holding on to her combo as long as possible. And the moment that they see any of those assassins step forward, they're going to just at least try to force out an Ancestral.
Tempo is just playing so safe. Look how far back. I mean, we're barely seeing KO move forward for those long-range pokes. We do see the combo come on. There's the Iron Skin.
Yep, good Iron Skin. So they're trading cooldowns essentially in that moment, but that's at that exact opportunity where they realize that the combo didn't hit, they didn't get the kill, they just rotate to the next fort. 2 forts down, a great push here from Astral Authority, evening out the experience.
Yep, evening it out, but Tempo Storm still, again, in a decent spot if they can get a turn in here. Nice force wall, but it is on Urho, so he is in an okay spot. Iron Skin popped early, there's no Kerrigan combo yet. Will Urho go down here? The Ancestral Healing does not connect, and that's going to be the first kill for Astral Authority. Gravilapse comes out. Nice Disintegrate, though, is going to zone out the rest of Tempo. How many gems were lost there? Were they able to salvage all of those, Jake?
I believe they lost 0, honestly, because honestly, that was just a great response. They were collecting them as they walked away. ETC in the front, or excuse me, Johanna in the front did end up following the 1 kill, but man, we just saw the power of
another early boss.
The power of the Kerrigan paired with Li Ming. Like, that is so scary.
Not just the power of the Kerrigan with Li Ming, but I talked about in the draft, the follow-up. Once you make the Iron Skin use from Kerrigan, we saw exactly what happened. ETC gets the power slide once that's down, or reverse of this, rather. You force the Iron Skin with the power slide, and then, of course, Kerrigan gets a combo afterwards. It's just, you can bait out the Iron Skin, and you still have so many CCs outside of that.
Okay, so Tempo Storm, well aware of what was happening. They are in position to defend. They're not going to step out into the middle of the lane where they're vulnerable. They're just going to wait for the boss to come on their side of the map. But even then, Astral Authority doing their best to escort this box. They want to maximize the value. Both teams closing in on level 13. Power slide use, no value.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go back to the shot calling from Tempo Storm. It just seems a bit off this game. They're allowing this wiggle room for Astral Authority to kind of do whatever they want. They were such a significant position for Tempo Storm, and now you're seeing 13 hit for Astral Authority. We're already losing a keep wall here. Tempo Storm, they need
to deny Tempo Storm from getting the turn-ins.
I know Tomster's itching for that turn because we talked about the Joanna piggy bank. Unfortunately, that's not the case for Tempo Storm this game. Tomster.
What they need, though, they needed to set themselves up to a situation where they were at least even going into the late game. On top of that, they're already a little bit ahead. They have very little gems, so turn-in is quite far away, but they're still able to control the map nicely. Bruiser Camp's still waiting. We also have the Siege Giant Camp in the bottom lane. So that's what they're going to do right now. Step back, just kind of grab those camps as safely as possible, get the gems from the lanes, which are now going to slowly even out, and just kind of try to deny Tempo Storm from getting the turn-ins.
I know Tomster's itching for that turn because we talked about the Joanna piggy bank. Unfortunately, that's not the case for Tempo Storm this game. Tomster holding 57 gems. If he can get all of those just him turning in, we'll get them the next Web Weaver, but Dark Khmer does guide it out. It looks looks like they're coming in from the flank. Nice storm from Frozen X to stall this out just a little bit.
Yeah, and Tomster will be denied. Kerrigan coming in from the top. Equinox gets pulled back from Johanna, but the force wall is good, locking Urho into place. The Mighty Gust is used early in the fight to try to deny this, and Tempo Storm will disengage.
There was a lot of really weird used abilities there, not just heroics. It was an extremely early cleanse from Zix that got nothing done. The Divine Shield seemed early there. It was just a really awkward fight from both ends, and that's why neither team got a kill.
Well, what did happen is Tempo Storm wasn't able to turn in those gems. You're talking about Tomster. He's a player that wants to go ham. He's got 57 gems, and he just cannot afford to go too deep because, yes, if he falls, that's bad enough. But if you lose all those gems, you've just thrown away your life savings.
Tempo Storm has the better team fight right now without heroics. No Divine Shield Mosh Pit means Tempo Storm should be looking for this fight, and that's what Urho's doing in here. He's dived in deep. Tomster dives in on top of the collusion. He gets the power slide out. Iron Skin used very early.
Yeah, Trinko was also used there, so that's not going to be available to slow down that Illidan. That's a big deal in this situation. So many of those heroics will be coming up cooldown in a moment, but the auxiliary talent's not going to be available here, and huge damage going off in the front. Diving back, the pull in. Kerrigan goes down very early, and now this is just an open gate for Thompson to go ham, but leaving behind almost gets Johanna. The Iron's going to save him, and they blow him up.
Really well done from Tempo. I just said they can't fight without heroics. You cannot fight without Divine Shield or Mosh Pit. Neither side had many heroics up, but when you have Ancestral up and there's no Divine Shield, you shouldn't even risk that fight at all.
And Tomster has now just been able to deplete his pockets. This is the one situation where you just want to spend all of your money.
Yeah, this is exactly what they want to do here. The wave in top lane is pretty pushed in, though, so it's going to be hard for that Tempo Storm to get value in the top lane. They're going to have to regroup themselves, and it looks like they're willing to push the mid lane now, as we do see that Goku is rotating down.
Yeah, all 3 forwards up. It's almost like a big experience bank just waiting for them to collect, and they're going to be able to get a good bit here. 15 has been picked up. Tempo Storm kind of flip-flopping in terms of who's ahead in experience in this game. It's been very back and forth.
Well, we do see Astral Authority immediately clears up that mid lane web weaver very quickly. Tempo Storm going for the option of pushing in this bottom fort, and I love the positioning from both Goku and Urho as they're just trying to cut off this rotation here. Nice positioning. That just that allowed this retreat to happen with no losses.
Okay, well, as you
Maybe
say
not.
that, the dive goes in. Kerrigan swapping your combo up to Urho, who takes a lot of damage, forcing out the Ancestral early in the fight. But the pull in, the dive back, we see huge damage going out, and we do have the one death there on Tomster.
Very off play coming from Zix so far. We've seen very early cleanses. We saw the very early Ancestral on the wrong target. You don't want to be using Ancestral on Johanna when you have an Illidan on your team. And the moment Ancestral went down onto Johanna, we immediately saw the rest of Astral Authority swap to Illidan and kill him for free.
Yeah, but the Web Weaver in top has been left alone for a good bit of time, so the fort has gone down. The lane is completely pushed out, and there will be some damage taken on these Keep Towers. Will the Keep Towers fall? Looks like not going to be the case with the team rotating up, but still, Tempo getting themselves level 16 first.
And they have enough gems for their next turn in where Astral Authority does not. So if they can pull this off, but it looks like a lot of heroics are still down on both ends. Luckily, though, for Collusion, he has Mosh Pit up, so he does have that great zoning tool. And Dark Chimera, man, he's not afraid to AFK in a scouting position like that. That's really good.
His goaltending, that's what goalies do, man. He's just going to be able to control that space nicely and deny Goku the turn-in of the gems. Actually, the moment that they rotate down, they're getting a lot of gems turned in themselves. Collusion might be stalled out. No, this moment Equinox is seen there by the side of Falstead. They are all being deposited, and there are just, yes, exactly enough turned in right now.
Yep, there is the third web wave respawn here for Astral Authority. Now keep in mind that Kael'Thas just hit level 16. I'd say this 16 talent is the hardest power spike in the game for any hero right now. It allows Kael'Thas to essentially 1v1 anyone in the game because it's so much damage.
It's true, but Kerrigan gets a little bit more freedom to stay alive. Essence for Essence going to enable her to, be able to chunk out a good bit of health, especially from heroes like Johanna that have a lot of hit points, or even Illidan, after he pops Metamorphosis, and it gives her a good bit of shielding for her to sustain herself as well.
Well, we do see that this push is going to be here in the mid lane, trying to get some serious keep damage. Unfortunately for Astral Authority, the Web Weaver in the top lane is just so far pushed back, so Tempo Storm will have plenty of time to react to this later on.
The siege has begun. Web Weavers in the back. They're just playing that full escort game, making sure this Web Weavers are as safe as possible. And Urho just doing his best with the Condemn. Iron Skin was not spent. Nice little combo goes out. You even see Disintegrate being used. Not to a whole lot of effectiveness, though.
Once both Power Slide and Kerrigan combo were used, you immediately saw Tempo Storm move forward to clear up the Web Weaver because they knew they were completely safe at that point. So good decision making coming out from them. The bottom Web Weaver looks like it should be able to get 4. Top Web Weaver is already almost dead on its own, so it's not going to get too much damage. Oh, actually, I forgot the boss took out that front wall, so Tempo Storm probably shouldn't have left that fully uncontested.
Yeah, we actually do see Urho's going to rotate up on Johanna, just throw that Nightick spawn out to take out as many minions as possible. And that's a lot of gems to collect as well. So as much as it is a big wave to clean up, it's a lot of gems that Temple's going to have to turn in.
That is a lot of gems that were spent on the end of Astral Authority without getting any keeps. And that's the problem they sit at right now. Tempo Storm going to be looking to shove out waves and try and get their next turn in as well. I mean, when it comes to value out of these Web Weavers, neither team has gotten anything significant.
Yeah, Equinox is very anxious with the combo as well. He's throwing it out very, just every moment. He thinks he can pull someone in, try to get that power slide lined up to try to get that pick. They're almost just anxious to get these kills.
Yeah, they're looking for him hard. Well, when you look at the kill targets here, it's hard for Tempo Storm to actually get a kill. It's either going to be on ETC or I would say Kerrigan. Li Ming's been playing insanely safe, and the dominance helps out a lot with that survivability. Tassadar are very hard to kill. This is a tough composition for Tempo Storm to get a kill on anyone without them being extremely far forward.
Tempo Storm is completely and utterly rich right now, though. They have over 100 gems in the bank, and they would love to change that. They would like to make a purchase and get some assets on their side right now. So we see that middle fort still standing here on the side of Astral Authority is a small benefit in their favor. Once that fort goes down, the map becomes a bit more of a playground for Illidan. So Tempo is going to want to do that, but a bit of a fight breaking out.
That Gust was beautiful from Goku there. Divine Shield used early. Great shields from Tassadar coming on Equinox. Taunters diving deep. Equinox doesn't have any more support left, and then we do see Collusion fall. Tempo Storm immediately getting 2 kills. There's the Metamorphosis. Talking Trees already used his blink, and Goku goes down and doesn't secure the kill on Talking Trees. That gets him the reset. Does he have the combo to get the dominance? He gets Urho. More resets are coming out, and Talking Trees cleans up Tempo Storm.
I don't believe it. ETC did nothing in the back. Tempo handled brilliant. KO trying to turn on Talking Trees.
Wow.
Oh, but the last minute heal. Talking Trees barely alive, but I don't believe it. Goku flies in, thinking he's going to secure the kill on Talking Trees. Talking Trees turns around, blows him up, gives him the reset, enabling him to just unload on Tempo and takes a brilliant fight. Tempo Storm lost a ton of gems in that fight.
Specifically when he dove in. They ended up coming out even on kills, 3-3, and they still have enough gems right now for another turn-in. So it's not the end of the world for Tempo Storm, but it is definitely a fight that they came out behind on.
Yeah, I mean, 3 for 3 at the end of the day. Many gems lost, 19-18. So
dude, these guys are so greedy with bosses. Every single game we've cast so far, they just go for these crazy bosses, and they're going to get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, Mirror Ball just does so much damage. At level 16, Li Ming just chunks through that boss with every single Q that she throws out. 2 more members arriving here.
Tempo sniffed it out. They're running up there. Do they have time, Jake? Do they have Gust up? They do. Are they going to go in time? They're running out of time. They need to go in now. I don't think they're going to get there.
They're being too patient. The force wall is there, and the boss is picked up here by Astral Authority.
Wow,
the Gust is spent. Oh, that's a 60-second cooldown they spent just to disengage?
Wow, and this is going on keep as well, so they can't even stall up for the boss. They're looking to try and get aggressive here. Equinox is positioning himself. Iron Skin used very early here. The cleanse
Blast Shield in the wrong direction!
Doesn't even hit anyone, and now Urho's gonna fall.
All right, we have a boss push in the top lane for Astral Authority. 4 versus 5 in their favor. They're on match point. They're already up 1-0 versus Tempo. This keep is going to fall like butter. It's nothing left remaining here. They're just gonna chunk through it.
Well, we do see that the keep falls almost for free here. It's so healthy. They don't have their Joanna. I don't know if Tempo can... If they had Gust up, they might have been able to hold this, but you said they wasted it.
And they wasted Blessed Shield. 2 heroics that did absolutely nothing on the side of Tempo.
This is the epic throws here. The boss is on the core. They're trying to fight this off. Equinox still very healthy. They get the stun on top. Lots of damage going on. The Frozen X, but he doesn't go down. A big
huge mosh pit.
Doing a lot of damage. No reset for Talking Trees, but there goes Falstad.
The core is already down to 50%. Astral Authority with 5 versus 1 remaining will close it out with a 2-0 victory over Tempo Storm.
I just don't even have words for that game, Jake. That was such passive play from both teams, but you really have to compliment Equinox's shot calling. Just snap, out of nowhere, the most aggressive calls ever, and twice in a row, those boss calls were just...
Yeah, just take boss. Just do it. And Tempo just wasn't ready for it. They weren't expecting it. 2 heroes up. They started boss while the rest of the team made their way over. Seems like an insanely risky thing to do, but Tempo never once caught them off guard for that. In Astral Authority, this team is looking phenomenal right now.
Li Ming, man.
She's a pretty good hero.
She's a good hero when she gets kills. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Those resets, and then there you see the love again. A former teammate of Astral Authority, Tomster, now in Tempo Storm. You see the hugs going out, the GGs. These guys are all very good friends. But Astral Authority, man, we talked about the potential of every group or every team in this tournament making it into the top 4, and well, we're seeing it here.
All right, boys. All right, where do we begin? Good God, that was so much going on in that. So much. I want to say, to just start off, Dominance MVP talent. Right? Like, yeah. I cannot believe that little turnaround that we had going on forwards like that. And Trees, you guys already spoke so highly of him. After plays like that, after judgment calls like that, who's going wrong?
It's crazy, too, because we don't see Dominance anymore across all the regions.
No,
we're seeing mainly the orb build picked up right now.
Yeah.
Even if you don't go orb build, you're still taking the orb talent at level 4. But Dominance in that exact situation won them that game 100%.
Yeah, and almost like Falsa turned into like this fried chicken that just fueled Li Ming to go to town, right? She needed that energy. She got it from him, and she just snowballed through that fight ridiculously, just completely shredded through them.
All right, I think we're going to take a look at a replay from that one to see exactly what's gone down. Jay, how you selected? What have you got for us?
Yeah, this right here was one of the moments where just there's small things that happen. We see Urho goes down here, but at the same time, this is where things could have gone really bad. But we see the fact that there was actually a Mighty Gust somewhere in the middle of all that. That was the one we were supposed to have. But there was a Mighty Gust in there that helped to disengage during a fight that really, it could have gotten a lot worse a lot earlier. I
think the one thing that I took from that replay especially is the Kerrigan combo between lanes and then with Li Ming follow-up, I think extremely powerful. That absolutely dominated that position.
It was artistic, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
I loved watching it. Yeah. Everything about it, that composition, it made perfect sense for Tomb.
Yeah, I mean, again, you just have to bait out the Iron Skin. Once you have any follow-up once Iron Skin's done, whether it has to be a hard engaged CC, like an ETC power slide, like, a Kerrigan combo. And every time Iron Skin was down, we saw Equinox or Collusion go in and secure many kills.
And then moving on to the second replay, of course, from that game. Let's take a quick cheeky look. I haven't said that yet, so there we go.
All right, this is the fight that everybody is going to be talking about right here. We saw Equinox go in. The Mighty Gust pushed them away, guys. And this call right here, this is where Li Ming shines because 2 members are down right here. 2 members.
Yeah, but Falstad flies in, decides he's going to be a meal as that mirror ball just does so much damage. The reset with that disintegrate, just crazy.
And the amount of health that Trees is left with, if we get far enough in here, look at the turnaround on KO right onto Trees, right there, right there. The shield, I think, is going to come in.
I mean, if Uther Ghost wasn't there, he would have died 100%.
And it was 1 second later that he actually went down as well. So that was quite impressive stuff. And we are indeed joined by our lovely Astral Authority member. Hello, how are you doing?
How's it going?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hold the mic up really, really close.
Really close?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
How's it going? What's up?
Doing good, doing good. So congratulations for your win. Very, very impressive stuff going in. I've got to ask a straight question to start things off. Did you expect I would say, a pretty convincing 2-0 there against Tempo Storm?
Yeah, we played him in a qualifier last week, and it was a 2-0 as well.
All right.
So we were pretty confident going in. We felt like we were going to do well. Our draft was good.
Okay, and then going into the second game, of course, saying that the draft was good and you were kind of feeling confident in that regard. The combos that you're able to land, and Tree obviously being able to make that fantastically insane play towards mid.
Yeah, the comeback mid.
It wasn't looking too smooth in that fight up until that point. What's going through the team's mind at that point?
I mean, when he turned it, we're just ready to go in.
Yeah.
Kill them all, bang, bang. That's what we call Li Ming, bang, bang.
I was watching you guys in the practice area, and, he asked, he's like, hey, Equinox, who am I playing? He just goes bang, bang, and I was so confused, but now I see why.
Yeah, that's what we call her.
So my question is, you guys are kind of the pioneers of Lili here. Tempo Storm tried busting it out versus you guys. You bodied them in that game. When should Lili be used?
I mean, it just wasn't picked right. You can't pick Lili without a burst healer with you it doesn't work
So
out.
it was the
Like,
Brightwing you're saying was the issue
yeah,
there.
like it doesn't work out.
Okay.
You gotta have a burst healer like Rhaegar or Uther.
Yeah.
Even Tassadar.
So let's talk about the impact of Equinox on the team
Yeah.
now, right? Equinox is obviously not only the newest member on the team. He's replaced Tomster. He's kind of like a big, assassin for you. But he's also a big key drafter and shot caller. How much has that changed the team?
A lot, because honestly, before Equinox came in, we didn't have a shot caller. We didn't have a drafter. It was just kind of, it wasn't very good, to be honest. We were just picking heroes that we liked and
The thing I like about
doing
Equinox
things we like.
the thing I like about his calling the most is his aggression. You saw when Tempo Storm went for that greedy boss on Sky Temple, most teams would have been just like, okay, they got the boss, it's not going to do much, let's just hold the shrine. But Equinox is just like, go, 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 we're going to get
Yeah.
kills. And then even though the boss is pushing our keep, we're going to go kill their core.
Yeah, go
and then, of
core.
course, in that last game as well, 3 people are dead. Let's boss.
Yeah.
Let's just take a boss and win the game with that, too.
honestly, me and Trees were like, wait, what? You want to go bossy? we didn't even see that one coming, honestly. Like,
That's
that was
awesome.
a surprise for all of us.
I like that. I like that. So I asked
Yeah.
Van as well when he was up here, but who is Astral Authority looking at as some of the bigger names to try and take down here? Do you fear the Naventics? Do you fear the
Naventic,
Cloud9s?
that's the main one.
Yeah?
The only
Yeah,
one?
mainly want to take them down. Tempo was on our list too,
Yeah?
but
You just like scratch that off.
Yeah, that was a
Easy.
very
Yeah.
very easy strike off on that list. Where do you see? Where do you see
I love
you?
the admittance. It's okay. Keep going.
No, you guys play well. Where do you see you guys ending up in this tournament? Are you making finals?
for sure, for sure.
Nice.
Ho, ho, ho.
Love the
All
confidence,
right.
man. Love the confidence.
Definitely going to finals.
I love it. Well, thank you very much, and good luck moving forwards into the next games, of course, as you'll be moving on to the winners match. All right,
Right,
well,
thanks.
we can take a look at the groups now to kind of refresh your memory as to where we are at the moment. Astral Authority takes the 2-0 to start things off, and then on the other stream, we had Gale Force going 2-1 against Cognitive.
Wow.
So
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
how this is going down, boys.
Gale
This is
Force
going to be a fun one.
Yeah, they're an up-and-coming team. I mean, obviously a younger roster, only been together for several weeks now, a handful of weeks, but taking out COG,
Boys,
one of
we
the
have a-
oldest running teams.
We have a legit situation for the first time probably ever that Tempo Storm and Cognitive do not make the top 4 in a North American event. That has never happened.
Right.
But both are in the losers bracket right now.
Wow.
And this is the state of where we are in America
that
right
means
now.
Yes, we are. Things are changing.
Yeah.
So they're facing off now, right? Tempo versus COG?
Yeah.
Yes.
With
One of them is gone.
Tempo Storm and Cognitive are one of them is getting 8th place for sure. That is shocking at a major lane.
Wow.
I mean, the fact that we have Astral versus Gale Force, as you called it, I talked to Gale Force yesterday. They've been together 5 weeks, Jake.
Yeah.
5 weeks. They've just brought together all this talent, and they're rolling people. They took down Cloud9 twice in qualifiers.
Yeah.
They've now moved on. They've passed Cognitive here. I mean, I called it earlier. I think Gale Force is doing big things.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean,
I'm with
we said that before, that they came in very confident. They were talking a big game before when I
Very
saw them.
confident is an understatement. I've talked to them.
Oh, okay, okay. Extremely confident. I'm okay with that one. I did a tall thing there. That was nice. All right, well, that does it for us for this series. Of course, that's series number 2, down and done. I believe our next series coming up is indeed going to be Cloud9 going up against Naventic. So that is sure to have fireworks abound. Join us after the break when we go into the winners match from Group A.